quite a few years. And that's just how.
So we all know that this is not going to be a full-blown this franchise ain't going to be a full-blown, like, oh, this is a long-ass franchise mode. No, this is going to be as long as I can make it. Till, like, the game comes out. I mean, till, like, the good one comes out. So, these are, like, offers I'm getting right now. Don't know.
Thinking that maybe there was an opening inside this white mountain hidden somewhere, I would take the Koopa shell up top and didn't get far with that idea. So next was luring the chain chomp towards the gate, thinking that maybe he'll break it, until realizing that that wouldn't work either. At the time, I lived in Norway, and before leaving to go back to America, a friend of mine had come over and stomped on the pole which cued the chain chomp cutscene. This blew my goddamn mind, because I hadn't considered that after like 2 to 3 years of brainstorming. But that wasn't all. My friend and I used to say it was impossible to get 100 coins in TikTok clock as well. That's because we weren't skilled enough to climb up top and never found all these 10-coin boxes. And then there's, of course, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I can't even begin to comprehend how much time I spent trying to solve the riddle for this star, because there were rainbows all over the place, but never found a star in the air. I'm pretty certain that I didn't figure this out until I was like 15 or 16. But you think I could have just, looked it up, right? Well, I technically could have, but that never crossed my mind. And there was also another rule in my house. I was only allowed to own one console and one handheld at a time. So when I got a GameCube for Christmas, I had to sell my N64 and all the games for it. So by the time I purchased the Wii, I completely forgot about that game and was way more interested in playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I mean, seriously, there was a good 4 to 5 years where I had no interest in Nintendo games. I solely played Rock Band 2, Rock Band 3, Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero 3, and Guitar Hero Van Halen. This was my life from ages 13 to 16, roughly. All I wanted to do was play the guitar and drums. And I got really good at them, too, to the point where I could actually play real drums fairly competently. But now I've gotten off track. The entire reason for bringing this up anyway was that I had never even finished Mario 64 until I reunited with another friend from several years ago. For those that have been around since the beginning, you may or may not remember Aaron. We made a few videos freaking out over Mario Party several years ago, and he's one of the sole reasons I got back into Nintendo. And I also have to give credit to Mario Galaxy for that. Like, my god, the first time playing that game was so freaking magical that I've replayed it almost every year for the past decade. But anyway, whenever I visited Aaron as a teenager, we would play a bunch of N64 games from Norway, or we just play some Call of Duty Zombies because Black Ops 2 had just dropped, and holy shit, that game was when COD was killing it. But what's interesting about the N64 was I think we were originally playing it out of sheer irony and for some nostalgic reasons too, but the more we played, the more fun and laughter we were getting out of it. And we actually ended up beating Mario 64 after all this time it took. This is also when I started to speed run it. I think the first time I ever got was like 6 hours or something. Now,
Did you smell shyster? Sister, shyster?
Nowadays, I can get around an hour in a 70-star run, which still isn't great, but a lot better than the first attempt, obviously. We got so into the N64 that we both started to buy more games for it, but I especially got really obsessed. Obsessed as in, I added 100 games to our collection. Yeah, I still got a video on this channel talking about those games from several years ago. And at that point, Aaron decided to just give me the 10 or so games he owned since I had already purchased so many. And honestly, he was the only real friend I had for a year or two. When I graduated high school and first went to community college, I only talked to one other person from school and Aaron. That was about it. It was honestly a pretty bad year for me as I was getting over a rough breakup, didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, and was struggling to grow on YouTube. But Aaron really helped me get through it. Almost every Friday night, I'd finish working at Papa John's after getting my schoolwork done. 2 weeks may sound like a long time to 100% all the 2D Mario games, but that's because we're including all the mainline games, most of the Game Boy variants, and Super Mario All-Stars since it's a full-on remake. Going for 100% in a lot of these games takes much, much longer than you'd imagine. So we're in for quite the ride. And I say we because Simple Flips was crazy enough to join me for this venture. We streamed the entire thing together and raced to see who could finish all the games first. If for whatever reason you don't know who Simple Flips is, he's incredibly good at 3D and 2D Mario games, so I expect to lose this race. But hey, who knows what'll happen, right? Before going in, I needed to plan way more than the other marathons that I've already done. I created this entire spreadsheet that has guides for alternate exits, hidden coins, and secrets.
Who's injured?
This guide may
Who
be
is
the
injured?
only reason
God
I'm able to
damn it.
100% all these games. I've honestly been nervous about this for months. I was exhausted after a week of playing 3D Mario, and then Mario Kart. What the hell is 2 weeks of this gonna be like? Well, let's find out. The first day has finally arrived, and this was the one I was most worried about.
Season goal?
That I began, and this
Let's go
insane
4 rings.
marathon has
I don't
started its
expect to
course.
do good, given the fact I'm the New England Patriots. I got Drake May. Let's see if Drake May can carry us to a playoff berth. So first off, I'm going to point this out now for anyone who's like, oh, why is he using the Patriots for his final franchise mode of this game? Very simple. The wide receiver 1 on the team in the game, in Kendrick Bourne, and wanted to be able to throw the football to my cousin, because I don't know when I'll ever meet him in real life. Like, the only reason I even know he's my cousin is because his dad was at a thing my family was doing, because he's related to my aunt. So, no expectations? Just be good.
To 100% Super Mario Bros., it's really simple. Beat all 32 levels without using any warps. I'll also be using the same controllers the game's console was on. Now, thankfully, I've beaten this game quite a few times in the past. So while I'm used to SME1's wonky physics, they still took me a bit of time to get the hang of it again. This marathon dynamic is much different compared to the other ones I've done, because I had Simple Books on call with me the whole time. And immediately, I noticed my mood was better than usual, because the both of us were going to be clawing our
That's gonna suck.
together. As for the game itself, I mean, we've all seen it and played Mario Bros. 1 100 times. It's not the greatest game to go back to, especially because so many levels look the same and the jumping momentum can be super clunky. While building speed and running feel fine, jumping is tricky because Mario will kind of lock in place depending on how fast he's going. It's like this in most 2D Mario games, but the physics have been heavily polished as the decades have passed. And the springs are also very inconsistent. It can sometimes be hard to tell how much distance to cover after jumping off one. Also, if you get a game over in this game, you go back to World 1.
Oh, huh?
Well, at least that's how it works if you don't know that you can hold A on the title screen after a game over. Because doing this sends you back to the world that you died in. So even though the game's save system is BS, it's not the most unfair setup in the world. Simple is not used to SMB1's mechanics and ended up getting a game over fairly early on. But I actually didn't have my first death until 5 so I was pretty happy with the progress. But this is not the game that I'm worried about. Anyway, after like 30 minutes, I found my way at World 8. I was cooking along at a good pace, but then I got to 8-4. This level really isn't that bad, but the Hammer Bro right before Bowser is super hard to predict. So I finally got to him, and yep, I died. Okay, cool. That's the first game over, but at least I can start at 8-1 compared to 1-1. After a couple more game overs, I jumped over that Hammer Bro, and then somehow avoided Bowser's hammers, and just like that, was already done with Super Mario Bros. 1. It feels great to have finished this game so quickly. In fact, it only took 58 minutes, but this was just the warm-up. Yup. Next up is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This one game, is why I was dreading this marathon. To 100% the Lost Levels, I need to beat the main 32 levels without warps, then beat 9-1 through 9-4, get a game over in 9-1 to unlock Worlds A through D, and then beat those. This equates to beating 52 of the worst Mario levels ever conceived. I've been so terrified of getting stuck in this game during the marathon that I actually played through it a few times before the marathon even began. This is one of my most hated Mario games of all time because of how awful and cruel the level design is. First off, for a sequel, it does virtually nothing new to make it better. The wonky physics are the same, and the themes are mostly the same as well. There's no new music, or enemies, or bosses. It's basically just an unfair level pack. The BS begins at World 2-2. Like, look at this huge gap. Seems like you gotta make quite the jump to clear that, right? Nope, wrong. Instead, you gotta hit 2 completely random invisible blocks and then make your way across. The game gives you no clues to do this. You just have to assume that if you're stuck, just jump around like an idiot until a block shows up. And maybe it's just me, but the hitbox collision seems to be even worse than the first game. Like, look at this. In 2-4, I died jumping on a Goomba. Like, how does that even happen? But look, the first few worlds, they aren't too bad. So I was at least getting through them somewhat quickly.
Get you.
World 4 and beyond is where things get incredibly dumb. Look at this jump in 4-3.
Fuck.
There's a Koopa that is barely in view, and I have to jump perfectly so I bounce off him to reach the other side. What is this, a bad Mario Maker level? Oh, wait a second. That's the entirety of the Lost Levels. It's just a compilation of bad Mario Maker levels. By the time I was at World 4, Simple Flips wrapped up Mario Bros. 1. I was kind of surprised to be this far ahead of him, but I have a feeling that both of us are going to be stuck in the Lost Levels for quite a while. But honestly, I think I got this. The goal for the marathon isn't so much to beat the games in 2 weeks.
Today just ran up.
For the 3D Mario and Mario Kart marathons, I had a horrible time maintaining my sanity. But this time, I want to get through this without having a rage fit. I eventually got to World 5, and oh boy, they added wind. That's probably the biggest thing they included.
Yeah.
It's also incredibly annoying. You just have to know the wind is coming and already have your jumps planned out in advance, or you're not going to make it. Then let's talk about
Oh, shit.
5-3. This level will infinitely loop if you don't know that you need to get up to this pipe and then go down it. Again, there's no context clues to do any of this stuff crap. Oh, and then 5-4 is filled to the brim with fire bars and incredibly tight jumps. This was where the struggle began. I got game overs more times than I could count. Messing up an individual level wasn't even that painful. It was getting kicked back to the beginning of the
Fuck.
world.
Oh,
It just felt like I was wasting my
fuck.
time replaying levels I'd already beat, only to make a few small mistakes and then, uh-oh, gotta retry it all again. And when you play the same thing over and over like this, it's really easy to slip up more and more. It's a very common trait in
Oh,
games.
shit.
The more tired you get seeing the same thing, the easier it is to make mistakes. But eventually, I got through World 5 and was pretty ecstatic. But I'm not even halfway done yet. Just look at my screen. This is 6-1 in a nutshell. 6-2 is complete nonsense the whole time. The bloopers and cheat sheets are sometimes in spots that are almost impossible to avoid. Then we've got 6-3. The cheat sheet hitboxes are so broken that I died just jumping on top of them. Oh, and also they added this block with a mushroom.
What the fuck you on? What the fuck's happening?
What
the fuck was that?
Very cool, guys. And then finally for 6-4, you gotta take specific paths to get across, or you'll keep looping the same sections over and over.
No, no, what? Do your job. Do your fucking...
Planes. They're completely random. And there's lots of jumps where you're supposed to fully commit to them, but you also have to pray that the flames don't get in the way. After lots and lots and lots of trial and error, I did finish World 6, but not after taking a beating. At this point, I felt like I understood the game's mechanics, and just needed to stay persistent with whatever...
Fucking airball, dumbass. Don't do that.
Actually. The main issue was with 7-4. There's a bunch of lifts that go up and down, and you need to quickly jump
Jones
across
missed,
to
and then
survive. However,
Dane
the
got his
timing
ass.
of the lifts can get thrown off sometimes, which makes jumping across them impossible.
Oh, shit.
And I have no idea why the game would do this. It was a pain to put up with. But World 7 really didn't take as long as I thought. I got through it and moved on to World 8.
Oh,
This brings the BS back.
that was a
in
nice
force.
fucking
In
stop.
8-2, you'll loop infinitely if you don't know that you're supposed to hit this block by bouncing off the paratrooper to escape. Oh, and while that's happening, there's a hammer bro that chases you down.
Oh shit, oh
but
shit,
at
oh shit,
least
oh
you
shit.
can use stars to take him out, so there's that, I guess. And then there's 8-3. This one's not any better either. It's filled with hammer bros, and you have no choice but to rely on a bit of luck to jump over and under them in the hopes that their patterns are consistent. There's also a very tricky spring bounce to make where you have to bounce off a paratrooper, and at the end, you can only get across by spawning 2 invisible blocks. Then you gotta move this lift as high as possible, and then you can finally clear the last jump. In 8-4, oh my god, this one is so freaking long. It's filled with so many stupid jumps, 2 Bowser fights, and so many more shenanigans. I can't believe I've spent this much time talking about the lost levels of all things, but I'm dumbfounded at how awful the level design is. You need to understand in World 8, because stringing this all together was nothing short of a nightmare. I originally estimated that the lost levels would take 4 to 6 hours to finish, but I was already 8 to 9 hours in. But then I cleared it. I finished World 8 and only felt mildly relieved, because I still had 5 worlds to go, and Simple wasn't far behind either. He was working on World 7, so we're basically neck to neck. World 9 was an interesting one, though, because it's not hard. In fact, I cleared it with almost no trouble. The levels here are the most Mario Maker-esque of them all. The backgrounds make no sense, and you'll also swim in areas that you normally don't swim in. So after like 5 minutes, I made it to World A, and at this point, I'm so done. I don't care if levels are annoying. I'm just running on pure adrenaline and trying to power through the best I can. I barely even remember these levels, and it's hard to distinguish them because all the themes and music are the same as before. In fact, half the levels are the same as the previous levels, but they just add a couple of things to make them slightly harder. I can't express to you how decided I am to escape this game and move on. I'm kind of wondering if I'll ever play Mario 1 or the Lost Levels ever again in my entire life. But
here is how to be a video gamer forever in less than 60 seconds. Now hear me out. If you're anything like me,
I'm kind of wondering if I'll ever play Mario 1 or the Lost Levels ever again in my entire life. But after a few more hours, I struggled through the rest of Worlds A through D and finished. Oh my god, the Lost Levels was a freaking It took me 11 hours and 19 minutes to finish.
Start this guy.
I was feeling really good about the day, but man was I drained. Before any
Oh
night,
my god,
I
that's
started Super Mario
beautiful.
Bros. 2
This poke guy is might find a way to become wide receiver at the one. Shit.
And I was pretty pumped because I love
There's a
this
bad
game.
pass.
I get to play as Peach and Float. The bosses like Birdo and Mauser are actually fun and engaging. There's brand new music, and the controls are a lot better. I got all the way to World 3-2 and decided to call it for the night. Man, day 1 was pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie.
Man, I can't
but
do anything
now
for
that the Lost Levels is out of the way and I actually beat it, seems like all was fine with the world. I woke up today in a pretty chirpy mood. I was feeling ready for the day because Mario Bros. 2 is a breath of fresh air. But while I'm busy playing 15 million Mario games, why not check out our sponsor, Honkai Star Rail? It's a free game. I'm plugging it. You just 7 days to get 10 free Star Rail special passes to get RGT. And use the redemption code on screen or below to redeem.
God damn it. Did Madden do the Madden thing?
The only thing that's annoying about
Madden
this
did a
game
Madden
is that
thing.
if you get a game over too many times, you have to restart from the very beginning.
Part 1.
And with practice,
No matter what anyone says, this is still part 1. Just both of these are gonna go up and them to make part 1 because Madden did the Madden thing and fucking froze.
So I had to restart from the very beginning. But you know what? 20 levels ain't that bad. And I actually like this game, so I didn't mind that much at all. Simple Flips was also in Mario Bros. 2. This was another game he wasn't as familiar with, so it was taking slightly longer for him to finish. After playing through it again and securing more lives, I made it to war and took that frog out with the power of vegetables. It didn't feel like it, but Mario Bros. 2 actually took me 4 hours and 52 minutes to finish, despite seeming much shorter than that. And speaking of short, Super Mario Land was the next game on the list. To 100% this one, I need to beat all 12 levels without works. Yep, you heard that right. There's only 12 levels in Mario Land. This game has some super janky controls and it's visually aged pretty horribly, but there's something about it that I just adore. All the songs are fantastic, and the levels actually try to do something different compared to most 2D Mario games. The themes are very diverse in nature, and I like that the Fire Flower is replaced with a Super Ball that bounces around the screen until it hits an enemy. The bosses are also laughably easy. You can legit just walk around half of them and they'll lose. So because there's so few levels in Super Mario Land, this game didn't take
Sacramento State.
In fact, I actually managed to beat the whole thing without getting a game over, which is fantastic. Because if you get a game over, you go back to the very beginning. But it was definitely down to the wire. I had 1 life left and needed to get through Tatonga to finish. His bullet pattern isn't that hard to avoid, but it's also tricky if you aren't paying enough attention. But I somehow managed to finish this game in just 42 minutes. And wow, we're already at Super Mario Bros. 3. To 100% this game, we need to beat all 90 levels, which includes the 2 plant stages in World 7 and 3 hand stages in World 8, as well as collect all 3 warp whistles. We're not going to use the warp whistles, obviously, but it felt appropriate to get them anyway for the sake of full completion. Now, I absolutely love Mario Bros. 3. This is still my all-time favorite 2D Mario, and was so excited to be able to cruise through it. Everything about it is just amazing.
Yep. We ain't trying that shit. I ain't fucking that shit. We taking a knee.
Because the levels are so nicely bite-sized and well-made, it's addicting to play Mario Bros. 3 over and over again. And I love that while the game is full of secrets, you don't need to find them all.
So this is for 1. Start the game off with a 1 to see how this offense is going to be going.
best part of this game is saving up all your P-Wings and then just flying through all
We got 4. That is more than I expected. Weird ass passing play. Douglas Coleman, Gibson. 319. What? Go there. Oh shit! That was unnecessary. What the fuck? So that may or may not have been a slight bit unnecessary roughness. Oh shit! Thank you, big boy. Big man stopped him.
I much prefer the satisfaction of building speed in Mario Bros. 3 compared to something like Mario World. But this is still inherently a great game. It's just one that I've barely played in the past. In fact, this is where the race between me and Simple could change drastically. He's played the hell out of Mario World broadcasts for several years, so I already know he's going to blaze through Mario World and get a head start on me. I'm anticipating that he's going to hold the lead up until the new Super Mario Bros. Games, since I've got a lot more experience with those. But honestly, even if he does get a huge lead, I don't really care. I've managed to be in a great headspace this whole time, which is all I could really want. And even though I'm not good at this game, I actually made quite a bit of progress today. Thanks to the spreadsheet, I can easily check and see which levels I've seen.
Huh?
And that's one of the reasons I'm not super fond of this game. Once you get to the Forest of Illusion, I feel like it's kind of
Challenge that shit.
find a bunch of secrets to make any progress. Now, I get if you play the game a million times, it's not the big a deal, you just know what to do. But
He jumps 1 foot. 1 foot. That was 1 foot down, motherfucker. The fuck you mean that was 2? That was 1 foot down.
As expected, Simple Flips got way ahead of me last night, so now I have no choice.
That's some bullshit.
To catch up, but it would annoy levels. In fact, I was struggling with Larry. Now, I imagine most people were like, how? And my answer is, I don't know. Something about the way the platform moves up and down, and the way the game just feels awesome. This was unironically the hardest boss in the game, even though he should be super easy. After taking out Bowser and finding the rest of the secret exits, all that was left was the specials.
Can you please get some yardage that isn't from that 4-yard rush from earlier on in the game?
I thought I'd be stuck in this level for like an hour, but shockingly, I only died like 6 or 7 times.
First pass of the game, yeah!
And then executed. After that,
Hand this off to Gibson.
It took me about 6 hours and 32 minutes, which is a lot less time than I anticipated, but still much slower than
The fact I just brute strength through that with Gibson actually felt so good. But this next season, after this next season in the game, like, we don't know if the Niners in the game will re-sign, oh my god! 42-27, let's go Niners! But we don't know if they're gonna re-sign bloody Ayuk next season. They might not re-sign Ayuk in the game. So if they don't, we pick him up in free agency. We pick him up free agency. We don't need Juju. Lob it. What the fuck? They got through in 3 seconds. What? That was some crazy ass shit. But okay, look at this play. Hopefully folk can get open. Nope, Gibson. Yeah, Gibson just fucking powers through. Let's go, Gibson. Gibson is somehow the best player on my team this game. Yeah, in fact, my defense blew it horribly. And Bourne hasn't caught the ball a single time yet. Fuck! Huh? The ball wasn't in his fucking hand. Oh my... Yeah, that's on me. Yeah, that's on me. Shut the fuck up, Greg. Fuck. Oh shit, what the fuck? If he made that catch, that would have been some crazy ass shit. Fucking hate the question, so I don't watch the news. Oh shit. Oh my god, if one of those guys were just slightly closer, that would have been a pick. I feel like fucking what's his name understands that. Jalen Hurts understands that so much. It's like I throw that slightly worse, that's picked off. Oh shit, oh shit, shit, what? Fuck! Gonzalez. Oh fuck! That was a horrible angle I got there. At least Julius Peppers got his ass. Okay. Gotta watch this play. It's probably gonna be a one. Saquon. Yep, one of Saquon. So stop him. Yes! Only 3 yards. We can hold them to a punt. I mean, not a punt, a field goal. We do that, they're on a good track. But they're about to win it again, so that's probably about to be 5. The 5 yards they need. Oh shit! No, it isn't! Oh my god! Oh my god, who's number 5? That. Oh my god, if that was picked. If that was picked. That almost got picked. Number 5. What are you doing, man? Say, what are you guys doing? This is some bullshit. This is some actual fucking bullshit. Had to make sure it lit up when I muted the mic. I love that line so much in this song. Just, I fucking hate depression, so I don't watch the news. Henry, what the fuck was that? You just got speared. Was that Roman Reigns? Brrr. They got Roman Reigns on their defense. This isn't shocking given the fact he played defense. What were you fucking doing, you dumbass? Drake, the fucking dumbass man. Drake, the fucking dumbass man. What was that? There was no you stand still. Why the fuck did you try running? I didn't even fucking mess with the stick. Why the fuck did you run? You fake the handoff and you drop back. Don't fake the handoff and start running. Fucking dumbass. Yeah, hit the guy hit Saquon 3 fucking times and he fucks it the fuck off. Yeah, it's so fucking realistic. I remember Saquon doing that all the time last season. There's some bullshit. There's no fucking way we just let him. Jake May is about to be put on the bench for fucking Bailey Zappi if he throws another pick like that. Because legitimately, I set up a pick today where he just had to drop back. This motherfucker ran. Why the fuck you ran, Drake? This play, you get the ball and stay still. Shit. In total, we have gotten at least 40. We've gotten 40 passing yards. And a lot of them are from a running back. Yeah, Drake, you're fucking gone. You're fucking gone, Drake. The fuck was that pass? Hey Drake, guess what? Guess what, man? Yeah, guess what? Brissett's better. Nah, this ain't me talking shit. Not even me talking shit. Jacoby Brissett's fucking better. Well, fucking what? Let's Saquon's break tackle, huh? 100? It goes up to fucking 99. Is it a fucking 5 billion? Because that motherfucker just broke 3 tackles in a fucking row. Oh, hey, look! Look what happens when you don't have fucking the bitch-ass Drake May as your QB. You actually can make a fucking pass. Who would have guessed? Fucking hell. We just needed 1 yard. That's all we fucking needed. With a yard. Kendrick, get your ass open. Reading that play. Reading the play! Oh, hey, look. Again, when Jacoby Brissett's out there, we can actually make passes. I'm not Brissett. Drake May's out there, we can actually make passes. Who would have fucking guessed? You can tell I don't like Drake May. At all. One, make the throw. Okay, look at that. He just fucking dropped that. That was kind of bad. That was a bad drop. Drop back. Throw there. Look at that. See? 2 misses. One where he got hit. The other one when he fucking threw the ball and it was just dropped. Now that one again, he got hit. No, we ain't fucking pumping it. We're not fucking pumping. We're too fucking close at this point to make a punt. Let's fucking punt it. It's just gonna be in the end zone. Start the play. Hate the fact I have to pause the game to let it know, like, hey, I don't want to see the stupid animation. I don't want to get to the game. Did at the guy going, I'm gonna win a streak. Got it. The fuck? Hey, Boyne, you want to help your team out, or you want to help them out? Because pointing and telling them what you're running isn't fun. Yeah, what the fuck is that game? The fuck is this? He has the ball out of his hand. What does this guy do? That's roughing the fucking passer! EA Sports, we suck dick. God, I hope the next game's fucking good. Let me guess. Holding offense. Fuck! I fucking hate depression, so I play EA sports games. Wait, that's the complete opposite. That must mean I love depression because I play these shitty games. Because that's all it fucking gives me. Let's sub out. What's that? Let's put back in Drake May. Maybe it's just a fucking bad moment, huh? Let's look real quick. But his passing shit is, because he's a quarterback. 95, 85, 82, 82, 72, 83, 73, 76. Why does it feel like -5? For all of it. Shit, fuck. I panicked. I panicked in real life there. Fuck. Saw that guy, knowing how fucking shit this offensive line has been this entire game so far, but I mean giving up the simplest blocks. I didn't think they were going to hold it. Huh? 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 The face mask? Okay. Got it. That doesn't look like a face mask, I guess. Got them out. Step back. Throw. Catch. Thank you, Bourne. Time out. Oh, yes, I forgot we had ghosts on our team. What? I tapped it! Yay, sports. What the fuck is a tap? I thought they know what a tap is, given the fact they make the UFC games. I just want a fucking touchdown. I want to just put points on the board at this point. That's all I'm asking for. There. Oh, yes, I forgot that you can hit a guy into a head. You're doing a headstand, and that's legal. Snap the fucking ball. Douglas! Yeah, fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! We scored! We scored! Roll your up weights, please. I hope they kill your family. Oh, great. Sorry. What the fuck you want? Huh? Huh?
I decided to use the unofficial DX version that adds proper color just because it looks a lot nicer. But to 100% Mario Land 2, I need to beat all 33 levels and find all 6 secret exits. Yeah, this game actually has secret exits, and I didn't realize that until very recently. Mario Land 2 is one of the most underrated 2D Mario games, if you ask me. It's pretty crazy how much of a glow-up this is compared to Mario Land 1 in every fashion. The controls are much tighter, the pixel art is a lot better, the music is as catchy as ever, and those world themes. These are some of the most creative themes we've seen in a Mario game, period. Tree zone, going into Mario's crotch zone, getting eaten by a turtle zone, and flying through space. It's also neat how Tatanga makes a guest appearance as just a regular boss. It's quite a surprise cameo. Throughout playing this, there was really only 2 parts I struggled with. In Turtle Zone, there's a secret exit that requires me to go down this really skinny water path filled with spikes and fish bones, and it seemed like no matter what I did, the damn fish bone would hit me and I'd have to start the level all over again. And Spikes was just nasty, and I burned most of my life getting through this. The other part that was hard was the last level. Holy mother of ass, the difficulty goes full-on Baja Blast mode. And it's out of complete nowhere, too. I don't know why Mario Land 2 was easy up until this last stage, but here's the one part of this game that's dumb. If you lose all your lives in this final level, you lose all the coins to this final level door, which means that you can force to fight the boss again to get all the coins back. Why the hell is this a thing? This was clearly added out of game time, which is unfortunate because this game is fantastic otherwise. So just before running out of lives, I needed to farm coins and play the slot machine to get extra lives. I also needed to play a good chunk of this last level using the carrot power-up. Yeah, and I haven't even brought up power-ups yet, but the carrot is stupidly OP. If you're really good at mashing the A button, you can basically float until time itself is an illusion. It's super handy for the final level due to the amount of spikes that need to be avoided. And this level's huge too. It goes on for way longer
Snap the
than
fucking ball.
game. And it all ends with Mario as the final boss. I just thought Mario. And also they made him super wide for like no reason. But even Wario's kinda scary, considering you get no checkpoints if you die to him. So due to nerves, I died at Wario quite a few times until eventually taking him out. It's actually kind of funny how easy the last phase is. If you just mash with the carrot in the air, you can hit him 3 times in like 4 seconds. But after that, the game was over and I finished it in 2 hours and 39 minutes. That's about how long I expected this one to take, but I completely forgot how tough that last level is. So up next was Super Mario All-Stars. In order to 100% this one, we need to beat all 4 games without using warp. platforms. This equates to beating 194 levels. The reason we're even playing this is because these games aren't ports. They're full-on remakes with upgraded graphics and music, and the physics are a lot better too. Because of that, it makes sense to add these to the marathon since they're pretty different experiences compared to the NES counterparts. It's also worth noting that we're not playing the version of Mario All-Stars that added in Super Mario World, because that version changed nothing about that game. The save system is also much more generous. We don't need to worry about replaying the entire world or the whole game again, so in general, these 4 games will be a lot more fun to play. So of course, I started with Super Mario Bros., and my god was it so much better than before. I still got stuck in World 8 for a bit, but at least the controls felt more functional. It's really surprising how few people seem to realize Mario All-Stars is the thing. Everyone just talks about the original NES versions and how great they are, when this remake is sitting right here. Because I've been cruising through the games, I've been feeling pretty solid today. At this point, I'm mostly just vibing. After not too long, I finished Super Mario Bros. Again and was popping
Yes!
off.
Oh my god! He's talking shit about injured. Yes! That's what we needed. That good old Mac Jones. Good old McCrickle Jones is in there now. And we got rid of him because he sucked. Oh yeah, I forgot McCrickle Jones. Oh wait, no, it's Kenny Pickett. Mac's on the... what's it called? Anyways, I forgot Kenny Pickett was Tom fucking Brady. Yeah, I forgot he was also fucking Patrick Mahomes. What the fuck?
It was a bit early to be celebrating, and that's because the next game is the Lost Levels again. Yeah, I actually have to play this, but now with better controls. But do the improved controls even fix the game? Well, no, not at all. Level design itself is still horrible and lacks any sort of coherence. And it doesn't help that the graphics, while recreated and look nice, are just being copied and pasted over from Mario Bros. 1, which, obviously makes sense, but because I just finished the Mario 1 remake, it just feels like I'm playing a worse version of this game yet again. But you know what? I'm not too upset about it, because I've somehow managed to catch up to Simple Clips. Yeah, I'm really surprised about that, considering how big of a lead he had, but Simple had to run a short errand today, and that small break gave me enough time to completely catch up to him. And next thing I knew, I took out Bowser after Bowser, and was somehow at 8-4 already. Then I took him out, and oh my god, I've already beaten a good chunk of the game. And I say a good chunk because, of course, World 9 and Worlds 8 through D are included. But at least the hardest part of Mario All-Stars is out of the way. The main thing I was having issues with this time was with D3, because a lot of this came down to hammer pro luck. There's like 87 bullet bills being fired at you at any given time, and it requires a lot of really precise jumps, and also hoping the hammer bro doesn't get in the way. But after getting through that in D4, I was finally done with the lost levels. But the suffering didn't end there. My thumbs were screaming in pain. This is something you wouldn't think would be an issue, but when you're using an NES or a SNES controller D-pad and pushing down on them really hard for super long periods of time, you're going to lose circulation in your thumbs. And since I've been using these controllers for 3 days straight, my left thumb in particular was hurting a lot. Even when I wasn't playing, I could feel it throbbing constantly. But that's okay. Still feeling pretty good, and we've moved on to Super Mario Bros. 2 again. I feel like the NES game still looks decent even today, but man, the glow-up on the SNES remake holds up super well too. The controls feel very similar, although maybe it's not quite as delivery. The mob-ups...
So too are its many challenges. Quit. Hammocks won't hammock.
The mob-ups also have proper arms and legs, and I'm kind of obsessed with them. I also don't need to rely on the slot machine as much, which is nice. One thing that is a bit different is that I switched to the Pro Controller so I could use the joystick. That's how much my thumb was aching. And the Pro Controller is not ideal, as the joystick is known for having misinputs sometimes. But even so, I was breezing through the game, and also going for a full wall flip at the end. If you slide and jump off this chain in the right spot, you can clip through the wall and skip a massive chunk of 7-2. It wasn't really necessary to do this, considering I was making great time already, but I thought it would look kind of cool, and after a few minutes, I got the clip and took out Birdo. And just like that, we were done with Super Mario Bros. 2. Again! which means I just have to finish Mario Bros. 3. Simple Flips ended up getting a
What
bit
the
of a lead
fuck?
today still, but not by much. Maybe a few worlds ahead of me. It's really surprising how close this race has been, but looking back, it makes a lot of sense. Even though he's played an immense amount of Mario Maker 2, that game's physics are way different to everything we're playing for the marathon. And the reason for that is because we were both adapting to the controls as we were going along. There wasn't really an advantage on either side. But moving on, getting to play Mario Bros. 3 again with better graphics was such a treat. I was massively chilling the whole way through. Despite how enjoyable this game is, it was also 1 a.m. and I needed to get to bed. So I got through a good chunk of World 6 and was ready to finish up. But little did I know the hell that was brewing the next day. I only had 2 more worlds to go in Mario All-Stars before it was all said and done, and it was a little bittersweet. Now, I would be playing Mario Bros. 3 in a few days anyway, but Mario 3 to me is like hanging out with a best friend that you never get to see, and they only visit like 3 or 4 days out of the year, so you're always sad when it's over. And next thing I knew, Bowser's butt fell into the pit of shame, and it was done. I finished Super Mario All-Stars in 9 hours and 36 minutes. This is another game that I didn't expect to knock out so quickly, but now it's time. Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on the Game Boy Color. You may think that the 100% conditions are straightforward, right? Here's what we need to do. Beat the original game with no warps. Beat it again with the star icon. Complete the Super Players game with no warps. Defeat every type of enemy. Kill Bowser using the Fire Flower in all 8 worlds. Get all the red coins / high score medals / Yoshi eggs in challenge mode, and fill the total score meter in challenge mode. You may be asking, why on earth are there so many random requirements? Well, that's because this game has achievements. Yep, I'm not joking. There's actual achievements to unlock that give you photos after completing them in a Game Boy Color game. The only 2 things we can unlock are trying multiplayer and using the infrared link. And that's because we're obviously streaming from far away and aren't using actual Game Boy Colors to play this. And as if things couldn't get worse, just look at this game. I mean, it does run surprisingly well, and it's faithful to the NES version, but good golly gravy. Look at the screen crunch! It's so bad that this game has options to move the screen manually just so you can see better. I wasn't sure how much the screen crunch would hinder the actual game, because it's been about 20 years since I played it. In fact, Mario Bros. Deluxe is the first Mario game I ever played, and I still remember beating it when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I also like how in between levels, there's a little map that shows Mario physically walking from level to level, so there's some pretty neat quality of life features packed in, and for whatever reason, the Fire Flower flashes shades of pink in this game, which makes it look very much like the Bubble Flower from Mario Bros. Wonder. But how is the remake itself? How does it play? Well, it's definitely harder than the original version. I found myself moving the camera up and down by accident all the time, because the camera controls had to be mapped to the same D-pad that we're using for moving, because there's only like 5.5 buttons on a Game Boy Color. They didn't have a choice. I also needed to play a lot more cautiously. Running ahead at full speed was a horrible idea if you didn't know exactly what was coming. Doing that would often lead to running into enemies by accident. But after a little over an hour, I managed to beat the original game. So it's nice to knock that out, but now I get to do it again with a star icon. What's the difference though? A star icon? Well, basically the Goombas turn into Buzzy Beetles. Yep, that's the only difference. Now, funny enough, this so-called star mode is also in the original Super Mario Bros. If you just replay the game after beating it, but because the difference was so minuscule, we didn't bother adding it as a requirement for the marathon. But we're doing it this time because we'll unlock a photo for it. So after beating the star icon version, which really wasn't that much harder, I decided to also play and beat the You versus Boo challenge. This is probably my favorite part of the game. The concept's pretty simple. You race a Boo across a custom-built stage and try to beat Boo to the end. In the way are a bunch of red and white blocks. Hitting the one with the face changes their color and updates the platform surrounding you. This is a ton of fun, and I'm really surprised Nintendo has never brought it back. This mode would be killer to see as DLC in Mario Bros. Wonder, even if it's just a small handful of stages. But after that, I clicked on the Luigi head and the title screen said Super Players Mode. I wonder what that is. No, it's the lost levels again, but now with screen crunch. Oh god, Nintendo, why did you feel the need to include this? There's only one good thing about playing the lost levels again. not every stage is included. World 9 and Worlds A through D aren't playable. Although, funny enough, all these stages are hidden in the game's code still. They also removed the wind from all the levels and made some of the jumps slightly easier. So, in a way, this is the best and worst way to play the lost levels. They make the game easier, but only because we're playing in a crunchy 4:3 ratio. Since I've already played through this awful game twice, getting through it a third time was not as painful as I expected. I already knew it was coming up, so I was hoping to only get stuck at the very end. Simple at this point was only slightly behind, but again, we're still very close. I'm starting to wonder if we're just going to end up being neck to neck for the entire marathon. But about an hour or so in, I was now stuck
Oh, that hurt.
These levels are so horribly designed and not fun, so adding screen crunch was not making things any easier. After being stuck in A3 for what felt like years, I finally beat it and then finished Bowser, and holy crap, the Lost Levels was over. I never have a reason to play any version of that game ever again, and I am so thankful for that. The only thing left to do now is the challenge mode. At first, this seemed like a really fun and enjoyable way to replay the levels. Each stage has a hidden Yoshi egg and 5 red coins. It wasn't too hard to find these things because I made a spreadsheet that showed me all the locations. However, there were a few problems with this. Some of the red coins are hidden in obscure spots that nobody would ever find without a guide. So it's a good thing we've got help for that. And for whatever reason, there was one level in each world that was absurdly difficult. I think I spent like 20 to 30 minutes getting the score, red coins, and Yoshi egg in 1-2 of all places. I'm not sure why the game randomly gets so hard, but it made this challenge mode slowly feel more and more like a chore. I was still in a good headspace, but I had this dawning sense that I was going to be trapped in challenge mode for way longer than anticipated. The hardest part of the challenge mode, surprisingly enough, was getting a high enough score. Some stages made this really easy, while some of them were absurdly hard. Absurd as in, you need to speedrun the level almost perfectly while also getting enough coins, power-ups, and fireworks at the end, only for you to just barely get the score you needed. Like, look at 3-2. It's demanding 85,000
I'm cheating.
points, which is crazy for one level. The only way to get it is to let the Koopas in the game hit tons of enemies in a row. Otherwise, it's completely impossible. And that's not even a hard level. Getting the score and
You're gonna be our pick because you're a right guard. I need a guard.
Points at all in this level.
You
So the
swing
only
good.
way I can rack up a lot quickly is by carefully bouncing and hitting this Koopa over and over again. This requires an immense amount of concentration.
I don't care if it's
because
plain
one
cheating.
mistake, you jump,
It fucking
and
sucked.
do the whole thing over again. Did the developers at the time not test these challenge stages? Who in their right mind wants to bounce off a Koopa 80 times with no mistakes and then pray they get to the end without choking? And oh my Lord, I have gotten so tired of this music. I've had to listen to the overall theme for almost 5 days straight, and I'm ready to rip my ears off. Now, yes, I could fire up Spotify or something, but I don't want to do that because listening to the sound effects help with timing, so I have no choice but to push through. By the time I got to World 7 and 8, it was incredibly brutal. I was so exhausted from playing Mario 1 stages that I wasn't making any progress. I started to play stages out of order just to freshen things up, but it didn't really help that much. At this point, I just needed some sleep, considering that I sunk almost the whole day into Super Mario Bros. Deluxe and still wasn't done. So I was going to have to play it again for day 5 for who knows how long. Despite how arduously long SMB Deluxe has been taking, I was in a good mood and ready to go. I still needed to finish challenge mode for World 7 and 8, and the game was still not giving it to me easy. As I was about to wrap up though, I was warned of an extremely fatal bug this game has. If you manage to complete multiple challenges at once, the game will not give you all the achievement pictures. So if I were to say finish all the red coins and Yoshi eggs at the same time while wrapping up the last level, I may only get one of those photos. So knowing that, I finished 8-2, which was the last level I needed to complete. I got the score, the red coins, and the Yoshi egg all individually. So I checked my album, and I did not get the Yoshi egg photo. I did not get the Yoshi egg photo. You've gotta be kidding me. I followed the game's glitchy rules and I still got the bug. If you're curious what the photo looks like, here it is. Yep, that's the photo. That's the glory I missed out on because of this fantastic bug. Although I guess it technically doesn't matter because you can see on my screen that I did everything. The game just didn't want to give me the photo. But I had one more award to get. maxing out the challenge meter. You see this bar on the bottom that isn't full? Yeah, I have to fill this freaking bar to get the last award. But you might be confused because I already got the challenge medals for every stage. Shouldn't that have been enough to fill the bar? Okay, so I currently have 1,044,700 points, but I need to get 1,160,000 points. So that means I have to replay stages and try to squeeze out an additional 115,300 points.
Who's
Why such a
sacking a
specific...
shit ton on their team? I gotta show up my spine trying to look at this. So I got sacked once. Jalen Carter. You guys sure you don't want to try to meet Jalen Carter? Who had the most tackles on their team? Devin White. Who are they trying to get me again? Some random guy? No, I'm gonna make a decent offer in week 8 because I'm not playing the rest of that shit. That's fucking painful. But we're going to week 7. No, week 8, we're gonna look and see what offers we get for most likely the first overall pick because we suck.
number. And why is it so much higher? Dude, I will never escape this Game Boy game's clutches. It wants me to play this for the rest of my life, and maybe it'll let me reach 100%. But I have to die for it. Okay, sorry. Maybe that was a bit far. Do you want to know what I had to do to get an extra 100,000 points? More Koopa jumping. This is so stupid. I almost can't be upset because of how absurd this is. I deliberately had to scrub through all the stages and look for places where I could do Koopa bouncing to squeeze out an additional 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 points per level. Which may not sound that bad, so that's pretty good. But achieving an additional 115,000 points is an insane ask. So that's what I spent several more hours doing today. Trying to find levels where I could do the stupid Koopa bouncing. Now, I bet some of you were thinking, oh, just do the one-up trick in 3-1. That would rack up a ton of points, right? Well, guess what? The show breaks after 8,000 points, and I know that because Simple Flips tried the strategy last night, and it didn't work for him. Look, I think Mario Bros. Deluxe as a game has a lot of great things to offer, but going for 100% is somehow one of the most obnoxious things I've ever done in a Mario game. After spending half the day replaying stages, I figured out that I could get a good chunk of points in 4-2, which let me finally finish the score bar and 100% the game. Just kidding! I'm not done yet! Oh my god! I'm not done because I forgot to kill Bowser with fireballs in all 8 worlds. At least I'm able to just travel to whichever world and level I want to, so yippee-yahoo for that, but you're not gonna believe this. Even doing this was challenging, especially for World 7. I needed to retain a Fire Flower for the entirety of World 7. That's because I can get one power up in 7-1 and another in 7-3, which means I had to survive 7-2's complete RNG bullshit, and also get through 7-3 and 7-4 without any mistakes. But I've been playing this game for, like half my life at this point. I knew I could do it. So that's what happened. I knocked out Bowser with fireballs, I got this fantastic photo filled out, and was finally done with this behemoth. It only took a quick 17 hours and 52 minutes, so no big deal. I guess I'll just crawl my way over to the next game if I have any energy left. Finally, we can move on to Super Mario Advance. For those that don't know, this is Super Mario Bros. 2 again, but with better graphics, and the characters talk to you. To 100% Super Mario Advance, I need to beat all 20 levels without warping, and then beat the levels again while collecting all 40 Yoshi eggs and 100 ace points. This is why we're playing the Advance remakes, because they all have exclusive content that none of the other versions have. These are